Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Maura. Remember, you can get in touch with us. Keep it social using the handle and hashtag Legends Edition. My Twitter handle is Ed Mudibo. President William Ruto says the amendment of standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries to field questions from members of parliament in plenary will introduce order in executing the government's agenda. The president, who spoke on the third and last day of the cabinet retreat, further called for a ceasefire between the National Assembly and the Senate that has seen the Senate go to court for a record 5 times, seeking constitutional interpretation on its roles.
Day 3 of the retreat at the Mount Kenya Safari Club in Nanyuki, Laikipia County brought together the executive arm of government, the legislature and the Council of Governors. President William Ruto emphasizing the need for stronger collaboration with Parliament and the devolved units. Parliament has formally begun the process of amending its standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries to appear before Parliament in plenary to answer questions by members. The past dispensation, the president says, has been disorderly.
Whatever is going on now is simply not right. We have chairmen of committees who are not members of the executive attempting to answer questions in Parliament. It completely doesn't make sense. And they have no way of knowing what the executive is doing because they are not members of the executive. They are members of the legislature. So when a member of Parliament, who is a chairman of a committee, stands before Parliament and tries to answer a question, it is ridiculous.
In the proposed amendments, both the National Assembly and Senate chambers will designate a spot where the cabinet secretaries will sit and answer questions. Parliament has proposed Wednesday or Thursday afternoon for the sessions.
The Speaker may also permit a member who raised a question to ask a maximum of 2 supplementary questions that relate to the original question. Therefore, cabinet secretaries must be ready. That you not just come with a written statement to answer to what was asked. Be prepared that there will be supplementary questions.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi will not only be managing the relations between the executive and the legislature, but will also be answering questions considered cross-cutting, accompanied by the relevant cabinet secretary.
Now you have an office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary whose responsibility will be largely the relationship between the executive and the legislature. All the questions will be processed through his office.
There are issues that will be cross-cutting. There's a question that could be asked, for instance, that question on GMO that will touch on health, that will touch on trade, that will touch on agriculture, and we expect that such cross-cutting questions will be answered by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and it is expected that, of course, you'll be accompanied by the Cabinet Secretaries in charge of the dockets that the questions relate to, or officers in their respective dockets.
While the CSs will appear before any house separately, there is also provision to face a joint committee of both houses if the matter in question is of national interest.
We can disagree on things of legislation and say this and that cannot be originated at the Senate. When it comes to oversight, the Senate enjoys equal standing with the National Assembly, and you'll be expected to appear before both houses and answer. The same answer that you present before the Assembly, it's equally important that you appear before the Senate and give the same.
The head of state calling on both houses to put to an end the rivalry that has existed for the past 10 years, leading to the Senate moving to court.
I want to undertake here that I will not allow any matters between the 2 houses or between the 2 levels of government to go to court. We will find the framework to make sure that we sort all the issues out so that we do not have to expend public resources with lawyers going to court.
President Ruto has also warned against litigations between government agencies, saying respective managers will bear legal costs.
Any government agency that decides to take another government agency to court, whoever are responsible for the court matters, they will pay using their own money. I will not accept government resources to be used to pay lawyers for one government agency to take another government agency to court.
The President and the Council of Governors pledging to work together to implement government programs.
We are going to respect what the Constitution expects of us and what the law expects of us. As I have undertaken, we're going to have a retreat with our governors so that we can agree in the first summit and we can agree as the two levels of government on how we are going to support government programs, government projects, government initiatives at both the county and the national level.
At the center of the Constitution of Kenya is a devolved system of government. We will achieve faster development when the government at the county level and the national level work together.
It is now full swing mode for cabinet secretaries serving under President William Ruto, with Parliament expected to amend its standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries appear on plenary before the Senate and the National Assembly to be accountable to the people of Kenya through their elected representatives. John Jacob Curia, Legends Edition.